I've always loved a good Pokemon fact, and they're even better when they're wild, crazy, and something that you didn't know before. So in this video, I'm going to be covering some wild Pokemon facts that you definitely need to know. Let's jump in. Reportedly, Snorlax has an official connection with The Simpsons. According to a recently released book titled Monster Kids: How Pokemon Taught a Generation to Catch Them All, which details Pokemon's creation and its extreme popularity upon release, Snorlax's English name was apparently derived in part from the Esquilax, the name of a fictional rabbit creature that is mentioned in the Simpsons episode Lisa's Wedding. Gulpin originally looked like this at one point during the development of Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. Considering Gulpin's poison type, it's likely meant to look like a bag of trash in this design. We did eventually get a poison trash bag Pokemon in Gen 5 with Trubbish, so it's possible that Trubbish might have actually been inspired or influenced by this original concept for Gulpin. This next one is slightly different to the normal facts I cover, but it's as interesting as it is funny, so I wanted to bring it up. In an official guidebook for Pokemon Crystal from Versus Books, there is a screenshot that depicts Suicune with the name Splippyfop, which is honestly amazing. Reportedly, according to the leaked source code for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Bouffalant was apparently planned to be one of the Paradox Pokemon, as it was evidently going to be one of the future Paradox Pokemon, but it ended up being replaced by Iron Treads. Alright, now is where we start getting into the juicy stuff, because now we're going to be covering stuff from the recent leaks that happened a little bit ago, and a lot of this stuff seemingly kind of just got lost in the shuffle amongst all of the bigger leaked stuff that kind of overshadowed it, so there's a good chance that you might have missed some of this stuff when all of that leaking started happening, but it's still stuff that is absolutely insane, so I wanted to cover it here. It's also all been chronicled by cut content website The Cutting Room Floor, so a big shout out to them, and I will leave a link to them in the credits link in the description if you would like to check them out. Anyways though, let's go ahead and get into it. So it seems to be the case that the design of the Team Plasma Grunts from Black and White 2 are actually a bit of a carryover from Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, where leaked concept art for the Team Galactic Grunts features a design for a grunt with a mask over her face, which did not get used in the final game, but it would be seen in basically an identical fashion on the Team Plasma Grunts just one generation later. If you've been enjoying these facts so far, you can help keep these videos happening by checking out the merch on my merch store. There are booster packs with trading cards featuring the Fakemon from my videos, and even a couple plushes as well featuring the adorable Narwade and Folcachi. The merch is honestly next level, super high quality stuff. The cards are super fun, the plushies are soft, squishy, and adorable, and every order goes right back into making content for you guys. So be sure to give that a look with the link in the description. Thanks so much to everyone who has ordered something to this point, and now, back to the video. There were also some pretty drastic and surprising changes that occurred with various characters from Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire as well, including the leaders of the game's evil teams, Archie and Maxie. Beginning with Archie, in one iteration of the games, the character known as Archie wasn't actually the leader of Team Aqua at all, and was instead the director of the Oceanic Museum, which is a role that gets taken up by Captain Stern in the final games. Likewise though, the character known as Captain Stern wasn't always in this role either, because while Archie had his job at this time, it was actually Captain Stern who had Archie's role as the leader of Team Aqua. So these two experienced a bit of a role reversal with each other by the time the final games came out, which is already crazy enough on its own, but it doesn't stop there, because in this character profile for Captain Stern, who was effectively Archie at the time because he was the leader of Team Aqua, he was also the gym leader of Sootopolis City as well, which is obviously a huge change compared to his character in the final games, and is kind of reminiscent of Giovanni as the leader of Team Rocket being the Viridian City gym leader in the Kanto games. If you're more of a Team Magma person though, do not worry, because Maxie isn't left out of this fun by any stretch whatsoever. According to these leaked character profiles, an early version of Maxie was originally going to be a high-ranking executive at the Devon Corporation, where he essentially worked as a front in order to mask his true intentions and evil schemes with Team Magma. The profile says that he would have enticed the president of the Devon Corporation into providing him funding, which he would have then used to create Team Magma and fund his goals. It also mentions that he was having Team Magma infiltrate the Devon Corporation itself by using its members as his own subordinates at the company, possibly meaning that he would have tried to completely take it over as a part of his plan. I mentioned earlier how Archie was effectively planned to be the Sootopolis City gym leader at one point, but it does not stop there for changes to the gym leaders of these games, because these leaked character profiles also reveal that Wally was planned as the Moss Deep City gym leader at one point instead of Tate and Liza. As crazy as this does seem, there is also still what you might call a leftover of this idea in the final games, since Wally's signature Pokemon, Gardevoir, is a psychic type, which is the type specialty of the Moss Deep Gym. That was apparently not the only change to the Moss Deep Gym that occurred during development, however, because amongst all of this info, there is also a listing for the Moss Deep Gym that classifies it as a bug and or a grass type gym, which presumably was at a different point in development, and likely earlier in development, compared to when Wally was planned to be the gym leader there. So evidently, the Moss Deep Gym went through a couple of different iterations before ending with the Psychic type Tate and Liza led gym that we see in the final games. Another reason why this is also likely from an earlier point in development is because this information also lists the Sootopolis gym as an Ice type gym. And interestingly, the gym's puzzle does actually revolve around ice in the final games, which likely means that this is a bit of a leftover from this original idea. Another very interesting detail from this batch of info that relates to Hoenn seems to suggest that Aroon from Oraz was based around the design of a cut character from Ruby and Sapphire. Amongst the various character profiles that I've been referring to throughout the video is a profile for a character named Pakira. The profile says that he is a wandering meteor hunter who wears a bag around his chest, a wide-brimmed sun hat, shorts, and work boots. No such character actually exists in the final Ruby and Sapphire, but the physical description of him fits Aroon almost to a T, right down even to his age, with Pakira being specified as 24 and Aroon being 25. Based on this info, it seems likely that Game Freak recycled this cut character design for Aroon when developing Oraz, and simply swapped out the Meteor Hunter motif for the Secret Base motif. We are now going to switch things up though from characters to Pokemon, and take a look at some early Pokemon names. As a part of this batch of leaks, a lot of early English names were leaked for various Pokemon, and I wanted to highlight some of the notable ones here. With regards to Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, there are various name suggestions for the starters and their evolutions that are specified here. We've previously gotten to learn about the names Sprouttle, Scorchimp, and Plupil, which were early name considerations for Turtwig, Chimchar, and Piplup. But this leak also shows off some early names for their evolutions as well. For example, one of Grotl's early names was Treadle, and candidates for Torterra's name included Fortis and Torturf. Monkindle was considered as a name for Monferno, and Pyromape was an option on the table for Infernape's name. Other names for Prinplup included Prinploop, Pluprince, and Panguire. And when discussing these names, as well as the possible names for Piplup, it's noted in a documented conversation between Game Freak and Nintendo of America that part of the reason why they rejected the names that didn't get used is because they brought to mind and sounded similar to poop, which obviously wouldn't have been the best thing to go for. Pangperer was also another name suggestion for Empoleon to round out the trio, and I feel like most would agree that it's a good thing that they went for Empoleon here as well. That pretty much covers this batch of facts though, so be sure to let me know all of your thoughts in the comments, leave a like and subscribe for more, and stay tuned for the next video. Thanks so much for watching this one, I really appreciate it, and I will smell you guys later.